you walk into a McDonald's. The smell of fries is unmistakable. The beeping fryers set the rhythm, and you see a line of people waiting for their Big Mac. If I ask you what this business lives on, the logical answer is selling burgers. Well, get ready, because you've been misled your entire life. Ray Kroc, the man who turned this brand into a worldwide empire, made it crystal clear in a talk to students at the University of Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not in the hamburger business. My business is real estate. That sentence is one of the best-kept secrets in modern finance. McDonald's isn't a restaurant chain that happens to have locations. It's one of the biggest and smartest real estate machines on the planet, using fast food as an excuse for someone else to pay the mortgage on its land. While other chains struggle to tweak the price of meat to squeeze out a few extra cents, at McDonald's sits back and waits for the first of the month, when rent gets paid on some of the most expensive corners in the world. If you want to understand how money really works, forget the ketchup and look at the ground you're standing on. Because today we're going to dissect the real estate mechanism that separates businesses that survive from businesses that dominate the planet. To solve this financial puzzle, we have to look backward. The McDonald brothers had an efficient kitchen system in the 1950s, but they were stuck. Ray Kroc saw the system could be replicated, but he faced a problem that destroys any wage earner trying to become an entrepreneur: lack of capital. Opening 1,000 restaurants requires a fortune no bank account can sustain. And that's where Harry Sonneborn came in, the company's financial genius, who told Kroc, "Ray, you're not going to make money selling hamburgers for 15 cents. You're going to make money buying the land where that hamburger gets cooked." The strategy was surgical. McDonald's Corporation decided it wouldn't operate most restaurants itself. Instead, it would seek franchisees. But unlike other franchises, where you rent a location on your own and pay the brand a fee, McDonald's changed the rules. The corporation finds the perfect parcel of land, buys it or signs a long-term lease, 20 or 30 years, and then subleases that space to you, the franchisee, with a substantial markup. It's a perfect model. The franchisee does the hard work, hires the staff, manages the shifts, cleans the floors, fights with suppliers. McDonald's, the corporation, simply becomes the landlord. But a landlord on steroids, because on top of charging rent, it forces you to follow its rules and takes a percentage of your sales. In fact, if you look at the company's financial statements in 2026, you'll see they hold real estate assets valued at more than $42 billion. That's more than many entire cities are worth. A lot of people ask, so the food doesn't matter? Of course it matters, just not for the direct profit. The burgers are the cash flow. They're the engine that ensures the franchisee has enough money each month to pay rent that's often well above market price. It's a system where risk is pushed almost entirely onto the person running the restaurant. If electricity costs rise or minimum wage increases, the one who suffers is the franchisee. The rent, however, is sacred. McDonald's collects it no matter what. This real estate approach gives them resilience that almost no other company has. In a crisis, people might stop buying cars or traveling, but they still need something quick and cheap to eat. So even when spending drops, McDonald's rent still gets paid. For an investor, McDonald's isn't just a consumer company. It's basically a real estate investment vehicle protected by a layer of fries. Now let's talk about the numbers that move this empire. Roughly 93% of McDonald's restaurants worldwide are owned by franchisees. The corporation earns money through three main channels: an upfront franchise fee, royalties, around 4% to 5% of total sales, and rent. Rent accounts for more than 35% of the company's total revenue. But here's the trick. It carries an operating margin close to 80%. Selling a burger comes with costs: meat, bread, labor, logistics. Collecting rent, once the land is yours, has almost no costs. It's clean money. This obsession with land has also allowed them to dominate location. McDonald's runs geographic analysis that's better than what some intelligence agencies use. They don't choose a spot because the neighborhood looks cute. They choose it based on foot traffic, bus stops, and the routes people take when leaving work. And because they control the land, they make sure no competitor can push them out. If an area grows and becomes the new city center, McDonald's doesn't suffer from rising rents. It benefits because the value of its property explodes. This model gives them another advantage: leverage. Because they hold massive physical assets on the best corners in the world, banks lend to them on terms you and I will never see. They can borrow at very low interest rates, use that capital to buy more land in emerging markets, and repeat the cycle. It's a compound interest machine disguised as a family restaurant. So, what's the lesson for your personal finances? The difference between a cash flow business and an asset business. Most people live inside a cash flow business. They trade time for a paycheck. If they stop working, the money stops coming in. McDonald's understood that selling burgers is a cash flow business, but real wealth lives in assets that generate passive income and appreciate over time. Your salary is your burger. It pays today's bills. But if you want to become wealthy, you have to use the profit from those burgers to buy your own financial land. It doesn't have to be commercial property. It can be shares in companies that own real assets, funds that pay dividends, or investments that grow without you being there. The mistake 99% of people make is trying to earn more money by working more hours, making more burgers, instead of building a system of assets that collects financial rent while they sleep. Now, imagine you're the franchise owner. You invested somewhere between $1 million and $2,200,000 to start. You have a 20-year contract. You're locked in. For 2 decades, McDonald's Corporation has a guaranteed income stream, produced by your effort. That's why the company's stock is so stable. It doesn't depend on whether a burger is trendy or not. It depends on long-term legal contracts. It's basically a mandatory subscription to someone else's success. McDonald's also masters the concept of a toll. Just like a highway charges you to pass, McDonald's charges you to use its brand and its prime location. In finance, toll businesses are some of the safest. Once you control the strategic location, it becomes extremely hard for competition to displace you. People might copy the taste, but they can't copy your corner on the main street. In your own professional life, you should aim to build your own tolls, skills or assets that are so necessary that others have to go through you, no matter what. There's also a technical mechanism called a triple net lease, the crown jewel. In that system, the franchisee doesn't only pay rent, they also cover property taxes, building insurance, and all maintenance. The corporation receives the rent check net, without losing a cent to repairs or overhead. It's every investor's dream, gross income that automatically becomes net income. A lot of people criticize the company for its social or nutritional impact, but if we set morality aside and look at the structure, it's a masterpiece of financial engineering. They managed to turn something that expires in minutes, food, into something that lasts for centuries, land. That's the transition you need to make with your capital, from the temporary to the solid. The middle class focuses on buying things that lose value, cars, clothes, tech, while the wealthy focus on acquiring assets other people must use, and for which they are willing to pay rent. Did you know McDonald's is one of the largest real estate owners in the world, above many famous institutions and property groups? While competitors like Subway may have more total locations, McDonald's holds far more net worth because Subway usually rents from third parties. Subway is a sandwich business. McDonald's is a land empire. In your financial life, are you renting your destiny? Or do you own the assets that support your life? Investing in McDonald's through the stock market isn't buying shares of a burger place. It's buying a stake in a global network of strategic land, managed with military efficiency. It's participating in a system that uses the work of thousands of franchisees to pay dividends to shareholders. When you understand that, you stop seeing the stock market as a casino and start seeing it for what it is, a way to buy a piece of money-making machines. The final lesson from McDonald's is that what you see on the surface is rarely what creates the wealth. The surface is marketing, the smell of food, bright colors. The foundation is lease contracts, property titles, and constant cash flow. In personal finance, the surface might be your job title or the car you drive. But your real foundation is your net worth and your passive income. Don't get hypnotized by appearances. If you want to escape the hamster wheel, you have to start building your own rent structure. Use your current work to finance the purchase of assets. Don't chase quick wins. Chase strategic location and long-term contracts. Real wealth is quiet, it's boring, and most of all, it owns the means of production, not just the products. From now on, every time you pass a McDonald's and see the golden arches, I want you to think about the ground under that building. Think about the check the franchisee signs every month, going straight into the corporation's accounts. And then ask yourself the most important question of all. What assets do I own today that will let me collect financial rent in the future? Because the difference between cooking the burger and owning the land where it's cooked is simply the difference between working for money and having money work for you. If this breakdown made you see the business world differently, don't stop at the fun fact. Apply McDonald's logic to your own economy. Stop focusing only on earning more through physical effort and start obsessing over acquiring assets that appreciate and generate income. Review your expenses, decide what part of your income you can allocate today to buy your first financial plot, and start building your empire step by step. The path to financial freedom doesn't have magic tricks. It has solid structures. Start building yours today.